What is up, everybody? I am so sorry for the delay. It has been a treacherous affair on this side at Papaji's house. Load shedding and setups and all that kind of stuff that can take a little bit of time, plus new YouTube software. It's very difficult to navigate. I humbly apologize to everybody for running late. Listen, you guys can give me a break because this is the first time I've been this late. But I see everybody in the comments. Thank you so much for joining the show. I really appreciate it. I already have Ashley De Beer of Truth and Its Burden in the waiting room. We just want to do a couple of housekeeping notes. Please remember to subscribe to Papaji's House on YouTube. It'll do me the greatest of favors. Contact me on papajihouse@gmail.com. Also, please do me a favor, contact me in the comments. Let's start a dialogue. Remember, this is a show, one-man show. I'm doing everything here by myself. The really important thing for you to do is to interact with me, because let's not make this a monologue. Let's make this a dialogue. Even when I don't have guests, because I'm really, really enjoying the upward trajectory of this show. It's something that really brings a lot of joy to my life. I get to speak to so many amazing artists. This is my 31st live stream since the lockdown started. We're on level 2, baby. That means we can have things like these beautiful little savannas. And I went to the shops today and got myself a little bit of my Twisp. Let's shout out Twisp. Not a sponsor, but let's shout Twisp out, because damn, first couple of pulls from this thing, I had a little bit of a light head. Hey, listen, a little bit of a buzz. So couple that with a Savannah, we're rocking and rolling, baby. I got a little bit of a spring in my step. I'm really, really looking forward to the show. I've got an amazing musician joining me on the show. He's been uber patient with me. Just such a professional, such a passionate, amazing, insightful individual in Ashley De Beer of Truth and Its Burden. He's just someone to look up to, and one thing I've noticed since joining this beautiful scene of ours is that he's extremely respected. He's someone that nobody has a bad thing to say, only positive things. I mean, even guys like Patrick Davidson go out of their way to acknowledge the man's performances, and when I speak of him, I speak of the band in itself, because obviously I can only have him on today. I would love to have the band on at a later stage, but it's going to be an amazing show. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you everybody for waiting so patiently. I see a lot of guys in the comments saying, I think he's got load shedding. Escom, but he shouldn't be. He's in the same zone as ours. Oh shit. What? Why are we waiting? Getting irritating. It's like waiting for Ramaphosa to address. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, yeah, just busting your balls. I love you, buddy. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the show. Remember, if you're a new listener, if you like talking to amazing musicians, if you like the way we do things around here, stick around, hit a subscribe. Do us a favor. Love it. I see Brian Swanson in the house. I think this is the first time you've been commenting, buddy. So keep it coming. But without further ado, guys, we're gonna get Ashley De Beer of Truth and Its Burden in the house. I'm super looking forward to it. He is around. I hope he can see me, and I hope he can hear me. And it should be an amazing vibe. It should be good. We had a little bit of a hiccup in the beginning, but here we are. We're rocking and rolling. We can get to the chat later, get to some submissions later. It's going to be a fun show. Ashley, can you hear me, buddy? Okay, so it seems we're having some issues on that side. Let me just check in with Ash and see what's going on. There we go. Can you see me? But guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. It's been such a great experience these last 31 live streams. It's amazing. Just getting the audio sorted, and then we're all ready to rock and roll. Can you guys hear me? Let me stop this again. All right, Ashley, can you hear me? There we go. Let's end this quickly, and I'll send him another one shortly. But guys, it's so rad to see you guys. Ashley, I think you muted, dude. No, you can't hear me? Let me let's see it. Here we go. We got it. Sorry, I had to what? So we can't smoke. We can't ash. Oh, good one. Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Let's see if we can get this to work. Don't know what's happening with the audio, but there we go. Maybe he can hear me now. Hopefully you can see me as well. Can you hear me, Ash? See, we got everything working. It says I can see and work and all that kind of shit. There we go. Maybe he'll join shortly. But I've got a spring in my step. Look at that. Look at that. It's mighty fun. I'm enjoying. So let's check in with a chat, shall we? Here we go. Nice one, guys. Just checking some technical issues here. Seeing what the situation here is with Ash. There we go. There we go. It should be balls. I'm looking forward to chatting, guys. This is a guy that has done US tours. His band's been around, I don't know, like more than a decade. It's just amazing to you can describe him in 3 words: passion, positivity, and hope. You know, he's always, have you seen me? Have you seen me? That's amazing. All right, I think we got him. This is going to be a good one, guys. What's up, Ash? Can you hear me, buddy? Oh, yes. That's good. So sorry about that rocky start in the beginning, my man. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show an amazing human being, Ashley De Beer of Truth and Its Burden. Thank you so much, dude.
What's up, everyone?
I was a bit flustered there, building you up like a mother, and then realized I couldn't hear you. But we got you here. Thank you so much for joining the show. This is the second time. People don't know that, though. How you been, brother?
I'm well, thanks.
Good.
Yeah, we're busy, but we're well.
Yeah, for sure. And like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't help but notice the Superman cap you're wearing. I'm very stoked that you're extremely thoughtful, brother. Nice thought of you to do that. So listen, we were talking about a USA tour. Let's not beat around the bush. It's hard to do something for a second time. Let's start from scratch. Like I said to you earlier, I want this for the show to be a education. I want it to be Truth and Its Burden from start to present. And obviously we know you're going to be doing a live show soon for Hullapalooza. We can promote that later, plug it, and get your tickets right now at CompuTicket. Before we do actually anything, go to CompuTicket while you're listening to this podcast. Get your tickets for Hullapalooza, and you'll see Truth and Its Burden on the 22nd of August. But, bro, I really wanted to have this chat to you. It's like I said, you're one of the few people that have seen the real Papaji at his finest. When you tour managed Atlantic South for the Attila tour, we'll get to that. But let's start first of all. I know I asked you this question already, but the one thing that really struck me is your iron and fire statement. You know, obviously in your description you have a certain it's almost like a vision, a mission statement of sorts. And where you said that, you know, the member changes or changes can be crippling to a band. I can't remember the exact verbatim what the statement said, but it was more so that you take the adversity and you use that as fuel in the band that makes it stronger.
Yeah, I mean, basically... so 13 years ago we started out, and when we started out, it was a totally different band, except for Calvin and myself. It was a different lineup. We started out with Brad on guitar as well. We had Peter Milner on drums, and we had Matt Besto on bass. Mm-hmm. And it was a different vibe back then, but when we started out, one of the earliest discussions we had was that we wanted to be a touring band, we wanted to be a road dog band, mm-hmm. and we wanted to release albums. We wanted to see the world as a band. You know, I grew up having huge dreams as a kid of, like, you know, seeing the world with music. And, here we were, we had a band, and so let's do it. You know, I'd gone through a couple bands at the time prior to Truth and Its Burden that kind of never reached that point, but were rad bands, and we just never ever got to that place. So we were pretty dead set about the whole thing, you know, and from that we just worked our asses off to do as much touring as we could. You know, I think 6 months into the band, we were doing a full nationwide tour. It was, I think,
that's a way to do it, bro. That's a way to do it.
Yeah.
So carry on. I just wanted to ask you a specific question. Just before did you release music before you did the tour, or did you write a set list and then tour?
We did like a little 2-track EP or a single. I can't remember. I think it was called Common Value. I don't know if there were 2 tracks in that or a single. It probably was just a single.
Okay.
But this first tour was called 387 Revival. And it was a nationwide thing, but it was like weekenders, you know, as you do, because South Africa's friggin' huge and there's a lack of venues and, you know, a plethora of issues that just surround being a young band playing heavy music as well.
100%.
You know, where venues are just not even interested in doing that shit. So that was kind of where we were at, you know, and we just kind of continued on that trajectory of just booking tour upon tour upon tour until we released our debut album, Sending the Hope Home.
Yes.
Which we of course toured again and, you know, carried on. Once we released Sending the Hope Home, we felt at the time confident and ready to try and go overseas, which ended up being a European tour. We did a European tour with that, and which was a big step for us. I mean, obviously we hadn't been overseas. We hadn't done any of these big boy things yet, you know. And,
it's so daunting. Yeah. I mean, how was that? I mean, you allude to a European tour, but listen, I know we started a bit late, and I humbly apologize for that, but I really do. I don't want to, and if it's okay with you, I don't want to try and skimp on any of this, what we're going to chat about, because I really think it's important, because I think you guys, specifically as a band, you show that this is possible. You know, and you've done a European tour, you've done a US tour, and you've been sticking at it, and it's been a long time. How long has the band been going around for?
We've been around for 13 years. We've done Europe twice. We've done UK. We've done USA.
That's unbelievable.
And as I say, we've done countless South African tours.
Yeah.
Countless.
Yeah.
You know, so we've tried to maintain a busy schedule as much as you possibly can without, you know, watering it down.
Yes.
You know, and that's hard, you know. I mean, like at some points we've been doing like 3 tours to Cape Town a year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some might say, you know, is pretty ludicrous, but I mean, for us, you know, we were trying to build a road dog, you know, sort of approach to the whole thing, you know, where we were able to do, you know, drives overnight back home from Cape Town and that kind of thing, you know. So yeah, we wanted to basically prep ourselves as much as we possibly could.
How do you do that, bro? Road dogs. Like when you say road dog and you go overnight to Cape Town, you're mad. But I love it. I think it's great.
Dude, like, it's crazy. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, my wife and I, with our baby, well, she's not a baby anymore, but I mean, when she was, and we still do it exactly the same. We leave at 6 in the evening so that we drive overnight. I mean,
sure. And
it just works. And we always drive to Cape Town. Her folks live that side, you know, in Somerset West. So we're out, we would normally make 2 or 3 trips a year to see her folks and actually be.
Well, you do have that monster Ford that you rock, bro. I love it. What is it? What is that thing called? An H1 or no? That's the Hyundai or something.
No, yeah, that's the Hyundai one. It's the Ford Tourneo. So it's the Ford's answer to the H1.
Okay, it's amazing. Listen, we had some great times in that thing. And have you done any tours in that specific van with the boys?
Oh yeah, for sure. We did Dream Shade in that van.
Okay.
We did 1 or 2 others as well. So it's been inaugurated as a tour van.
Okay,
sure.
Amazing. So let's not digress too much. I want to know what was so I mean, we're gonna do first the European tour. What was chronological order basically? I mean, I know it's 13 years is a long time, but So who started the band? And let's talk, because we jump. Who started the band? You mentioned Calvin a few times.
Yeah. So basically, what happened, how it started was I was playing in a band called Unwritten Friday, and shit.
No worries, man. It's all good, bro. Love it.
Oh my word. Yeah, you were on the thing.
I promise.
You know,
I didn't
I
see
always warn them.
I just saw a shadow, bro. Don't worry.
Anyway.
So carry on, bro. So it was you and Calvin, yeah?
So I was vocaling for Unwritten Friday prior to Truth and Its Burden kicking off, and I mean we'd had like a ticking time bomb relationship between all of us as a band. We were stoked with the music, we were stoked with the performance of the band, and everything was cool. But our personalities just clashed on a regular basis.
Oh, really? Hey, that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
You know, and I think it just got to the point where, like, I just kind of felt that this wasn't working for me. I think we'd all, in that band, we'd kind of all quit at some point, you know. There's just that kind of vibe that some dudes have when they're together in a band, you know.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, and so anyway, a mutual friend of ours contacted me and said that the Halo Effect, which was Truth and Its Burden prior to being called Truth and Its Burden, were doing a show. It was some sort of like Battle of the Bands vibe at the Keg, and they needed a vocalist. Their vocalist wasn't around anymore, and they needed a bit of help in that department. At that time, I was like, well, you know, if ever I was going to leave a band, it would kind of be to join up with that crew, you know, with that band, because they were basically doing stuff that I really genuinely wanted to do. They were like some of the only guys who knew of Misery Signals back then. I mean, there probably still are some guys that know.
You happy with the
Signals.
New release? Well, I mean,
of course.
Okay, awesome. I did see that. That was the first band in Music We Like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, they're a big influence. And I mean, basically all the things that I, you know, musically wanted to kind of do, they were like already aligning themselves with that. So when the call came, I was like, yeah, for sure. All right, cool. Let's do this. And of course, I mean, they were like extremely technical at that time. Like, you know, and I didn't know much about the music, to be honest. And when the opportunity presented itself, I just grabbed it with both hands and kind of just winged it for this Keg show. But as it turned out, I mean, like it was, you know, it was a well-received kind of vibe, and everyone in the band just kind of seemed to immediately kind of click, which was cool. And like I said, I mean, like with Unwritten Friday, things was kind of falling apart with me in my headspace, and the band was always arguing, and it was just not working out, you know. So I left the band, and we then decided, all right, cool, let's start this new thing, fresh. You know, we'll rename the band, and thus became Truth and Its Burden. Okay. And about 6 months later, we were doing our first tour, 387 Revival tour, and yeah, we were probably about a year and a half in or so, and we'd released our first full-length album, followed by the European tour I spoke about. Yes. And a whole bunch of other tours, of course.
Now that European, I mean, because for me, the European tour and the USA tour, those for me those are big, because it takes a lot of planning, takes a lot of money, takes a lot of equipment, it takes a lot of connections there where you are, and the people that you're connecting with, and the people that you got to support, and all that kind of stuff. So let's quickly focus on which came first, the USA or the European? The European.
European, yeah. So the first European tour was the first overseas tour we'd had, and it pretty much just started out. I mean, I stand under correction. I think it might have even been like MySpace days, still around that time. I don't know. You know, it's hard to kind of remember that.
Yeah,
it was a short-lived kind of phase.
So everything was done over email, basically, like or
sure.
over MySpace.
100%. And so we contacted a couple people that were bookers, you know, like show bookers and stuff like that. And one of the guys, Patrick Batenberg, who had a thing called Batman Bookings, was doing this thing, Batman Fest, in Holland. And you're
a big comic book guy, aren't you? Yeah, there we go. But you are, yeah. No, I'm like, that's not a stupid question, is it? Oh man. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Anyway, truth be told, I don't think I've read a comic in my life. I like movies though.
Okay, yeah, but you like the comic book movies.
Correct.
Okay, there we go. Well, you know, all is forgiven. So European tour, yeah. So where did you go first? How did you organize it? Like, what was the story? I mean,
so we hit Patrick up and we started chatting, and it kind of, you know, the email sort of starts out like, you know, these are the dates we have, you know, what can be done. And he basically, I mean, he was like a young Thundercat, man. He was trying to fucking establish himself as a tour booker, you know. And so he was just like, sweet, I'll take it on. I'll do the whole thing. I'll book
Patrick,
all the days.
who are we talking about?
Patrick Batenberg from Batman Bookings in Holland.
Okay.
I mean, this is of course a while ago.
Yeah, sure.
It's no longer in operation, so name dropping won't help.
No, sure. No, I was just interested to know who this Patrick guy. I mean,
absolutely.
It takes a lot of balls to do something like that.
So yeah, we pretty much hooked that up through him, and his band Oceans with Tragedy did the tour with us. So it was kind of one of those vibes, you know.
Yeah, sure.
He approached it the same way we would approach, like, you know, us bringing Ghost Inside out here, and then us playing with Ghost Inside on their tour.
Hold up.
Is the same way he approached that kind of scenario.
I think maybe we chatted about this earlier. You brought Ghost Inside out?
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. We need to cover that. Okay, so we carry on about Patrick and stuff. That's amazing. I didn't actually quite catch that if you mentioned it earlier, but you brought Ghost Inside out. That's incredible. So I wanted to catch on that, but let's carry on with the European tour, and then we can deal with the USA side of things a little bit later.
Cool. So yeah, we pretty much did that whole tour. Played a fair few countries in Europe. I think we were there for like 3 weeks or so, if I'm not mistaken. It was somewhere around there. And we pretty much came back from that. It was a weird situation actually, because we replaced our bass player just before we went, like 2 weeks before we went to Europe. We replaced our bass player, which of course was what some would deem fairly suicidal. But situations were what they were, and it's just one of those things, you know. And we happened to fill in the spot with Nikki, who literally sort of made magic happen and somehow got a visa and a passport and all that shit. And I mean, we arrived in Europe, the three of us, and we were like, we're not sure if Nikki's coming, because he was catching a separate flight. So it was super dodge, man. But I mean, it worked out. Everything worked out. Nikki arrived, and the tour went, you know, as well as a first European tour can go. You know, it was a different landscape back then, so for sure it was different.
That holds a very similar story to a certain Jaya O'Connor for a band called Parkway Drive.
I suppose that's true, yeah.
It's a very, very, very similar situation. Lose your bassist mid-tour, and you just ship one over, maybe one who can't play the songs, and you just make do. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was, I must say, that thing, when Nikki did that, for me, it always just spoke so much of, you know, just having the balls and the go and the lust for life, really. I mean,
Jesus,
you know,
amazing. But I mean,
not many people would take that on. Sorry?
The pressure must have been on him to learn the songs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he had to learn the songs. He had to find money he never had. He had to do every single thing that was impossible in 2 weeks.
But that's something that you can never get back.
Absolutely. You know, that was our thinking. You know, we were like, if you can do it, man. I mean, when he auditioned,
thinking about it, bro. I'm not joking. That is an amazing story, and you know what? I would love to actually hear his side of the story down the line as well.
Yeah.
It'd be
He's not in the
amazing.
music scene much anymore, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he
but I
might, he
mean,
might be keen to
we
tell it.
will snaffle him, and it's a Zoom. Bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
crazy. Yeah.
So we did that, came back, and as we arrived back in SA, we then had to replace our drummer.
Okay.
Things didn't work out on the tour, as tours can kind of bring out the best and worst in everybody, and we had to replace Peter Milner. And for anybody who ever seen Peter play, I mean, he's a machine. You know, he's technically proficient. He is unreal, actually, at times. If you had to watch the guy, you'd be like blown away at some of the stuff he's coming out with, you know. He was, and everybody knew he was rad, you know, and everybody looked at us and they were like, well, you know, that's a hard act to follow, as far as replacing him is concerned, you know. But I was like, well, you know, we're just getting warmed up, you know, with what we're trying to do, and I'm not about to, you know, take that on the chin and sort of like, you know, be knocked to my, you know, knees kind of thing. I was just like, cool, let's fucking roll on. And we did a couple of auditions, and we found Dale, and Dale was super dedicated. We were at that point, we were looking at changing our sound a little bit anyway, so finding a new drummer kind of made sense. We'd kind of done the European thing, and coming back from that, there was a sense of like, we want to sort of find out what this new melodic hardcore sound is like. We started out as a metal band, as a progressive metal band, you know, very, very down the lines of like August Burns Red and Misery Signals, at least how we deemed possible to play it, of course. As best we could, and did our part.
Yeah, some of that stuff's mind-boggling. I mean, for me, I'm a rhythm guitarist, so I'm not a shredder or anything like that. So when I hear music like that, I really it makes me short circuit somewhat.
So yeah, we found Dale, and we were on a new trajectory. Right, melodic hardcore, and that was kind of where we've kind of stayed within those mediums since that time.
So just a quick question in terms of the vocal styling, has it remained the same or has it changed?
I mean, there are aspects that I would say have, you know, always been there. I mean, there are ideas that I've used in studio on the first album that I've used on I Labor, the most recent album. So there definitely are things that are similar-ish, but I can, as much as this I could say, if I had to sing straight off the couch, sing stuff that was written on the debut album, I would hurt myself.
Okay.
So there's definitely been a drastic change in either vocal pitching or, you know, guitar tuning or whatever that would affect vocals in such a way that makes that stuff pretty hard to redo.
Yeah.
And so kind of, yeah, it's definitely taken a different direction for sure.
Okay.
And also just delivery, like it's not as technically hectic as, you know, the first album was.
Well, your delivery, I mean, for me, I feel like when I hear your music, I feel like you're speaking directly to the listener. I mean, that's a lot of the time what a band is supposed to be doing, but I feel like you do it in such a, like almost like a spoken word type style. I love it. It's you're telling a story, but you're telling it you're telling it in the sense that it can only come from you. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Totally. Yeah, for sure.
I really appreciate the way you approach your vocals, I must say, especially Our Labor in 2007 when it came out and you did that tour. It was such a, I mean, and a lot of people still say, geez, that Our Labor, and you know, there was a lot of people when it came out as well, just say, hey, this is so passionate. It's such a passionate, emotive journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, was.
And yeah, absolutely. And that is all derivative of your experiences, which is obviously something that you like to, you know, write about.
Touch base on.
Yeah, exactly. And touch base on. And I think that's also another reason why people love your band so much is because you know, it's all very well good being able to perform a passionate set live. But being able to translate that to an album is very difficult. And I feel your passion comes through tenfold. It's literally 11 out of 10 for me in terms of passion and the feeling you get from listening to your music.
Well, I think, you know, if I'm absolutely honest, I think that's all on Clint Watts from Watts Productions. I mean, you know, if I compare, you know, albums that we've recorded prior to working with him and now working with him, dude, it's day and night, man.
The guy works like a champion. I mean, he's mixed the last few tracks for Ill System as well as Atlantic South. So we don't have. It's very unfortunate that we don't get that personal, intimate time with him. But he still manages to pull off a fantastic product.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the time that him and I would spend together was just, I mean, in many senses, I would say it's magical because he really he digs into who I am as a person. You know, he's got a genuine interest in a relationship with who he's working with.
That's very few,
you know, and so when he's actually, for sure, dude, for sure. And so, I mean, like if we're talking on that kind of thing, you know, he's just able to kind of bring out that raw energy. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we did on Our Labor was, I mean, I was on the couch for a long time and then suddenly walked in and, you know, Dead to the World, if I'm not mistaken, was recorded on first take pretty much almost exclusively straight off the couch. And it was just like we walked in there, we had a vibe, he went for it, I went for it, and it just came out rad, you know. And we might have tweaked things a little bit in and here and afterwards, but, you know, as you do, of course. But he just had he's got a way with how he respects each person in their space and how he respects each musician's parts and what they bring to the project, you know.
100%,
So
well, each person is as important as the other, and that's another thing that a lot of people don't really get. Is that everything, you know, and you know, it's so funny when you watch YouTube guitarists and stuff like that, and everybody makes fun, but everybody makes fun at the bassist, you know. But for me, bass is like the most important, in my opinion, you know. Bass, you know, it holds just as much importance, if not more, than everything else, you know. I'm not saying don't giving something any favors, but I'm saying if you look at from everybody else's point of view, their instrument is more important to them than everybody else. So it's very important that a producer takes that into consideration, and I can totally get that from him. And how does it feel for you? I mean, over all these years, I mean, you've worked with him for many years, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've done 2 singles and we did Our Labor with him. Okay. And we will continue to work with him on the new album. So
I mean, he's done some great work with other bands like Red Helen, Facing the Gallows. The list goes on and on. With Atlantic South and Ill System, how's that?
Totally.
Yeah, and it's cool that he allows the situation to be remote as well. But then also, I've got some questions here. Before, I want to ask you about your we still didn't talk about the actual places that you played in Europe, but quickly, let's engage with the chat quickly. We've got some questions from Mike Pocock. It says, Ash, what is your favorite international you have brought out and toured with? And I think Ghost Inside's going to fit in here somewhere.
Ghost Inside is definitely up there, for sure. If they're not first, it's hard to say like first and seconds and that kind of thing, but I absolutely loved the Ghost Inside.
Yeah.
At that time, nobody really knew them. They weren't big. They just released Returners, and it wasn't really like big in South Africa at that point. So when we brought them out, like Oaks didn't know them, and the tours were kind of small, but they came with the right attitude. They were super humble about it. We were touring in cars then. I think we had like 4 or 5 cars in convoy. Oh, it was madness, man. But the guys loved it.
Show? You played the Cape Town show as well? Because I remember
we did,
my friend...
Dude, we did that skate park in Stellenbosch. I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, jeez. What? There's a skate park in Stellenbosch?
There was.
Okay. I have no idea. My one a guy he plays for a band called Behest. His name's Nick Rix. I think he played that show with Valkyrie Fighter, possibly. I don't know.
Sure, it's possible.
Yeah, but he just said that was one of the best shows he's ever seen. Let's shout out to Brian Swanson, actually, because he's a huge fan of the Ghost Inside and Parkwood Drive and all those bands as well.
Dude, he's helped us so many times over the years,
for
man.
real?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure.
Well, shout out Brian Swanson.
He was on our first tour. Like, he was kind of involved in 387 Revival Tour, which was our first tour.
Really? Okay.
You know, I knew him from Unwritten Friday stuff that we've done with him then. And, he's always backed us 100%. You know. Yeah,
I met him through the Man in Suit guys, all the Lakeside boys.
That band, man.
How rad was that band,
dude? Man in Suit. No joke. So I was part of. I was in studio when they were recording their album.
At Paris Studios.
No, they did their album at. I stand under correction, but I think the studio was called Truth Core Records or something.
Okay.
Mike Stott and Chris Brink from Tweak did that album together.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the black and white one, the
Battle for the Sky
album. Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, like I so regularly when I listen to that album a lot.
Yeah, so do I.
A lot. Like I just think to myself, if this band remained a band, people would truly understand how important and fucking amazing they were. Like, honestly, it's one of my favorite albums in South Africa. Like, of the best.
Does a clock ticking ever sound different to you, having listened to the actual Battle for this? Because before the song starts, and I'm like, every single time I hear a clock going, I think of Man in Suit, Battle for the Sky. Crazy.
Jeez, dude, it's such an incredible album, man.
Yeah.
And but I mean,
anyway, so
he was involved with them quite a lot,
Yeah, fantastic. Sure. Well, he's in the chat and he's saying, "What's up?" So so he goes, "Sorry, so we can't smoke, we can't ash." Where he said, so we can smoke, we can't ash. Well done. And then next question, we will go back to the US tour because I want to hear about that now, and then quickly touch on the UK venues that you played. Jared Ronenberg asks, how did you come up with the funds to do these tours?
Oh, wow.
No holds barred and Papaji's house, baby.
No, I'm just trying to remember. I mean, this is obviously quite a while ago. I mean, I know, we would have saved for Europe. We would have saved. I mean, even if we took loans out, we would have managed it through that,
Yeah.
I mean, I was working back then. I think if I'm correct in my thinking, I think the first tour that Calvin's actually sold his car twice to do tours. That's how much he's loved and wanted to do it,
Yeah.
I remember he had a fucking Toyota Taz the first time around we did Europe, and he sold that to do Europe. And then came back and obviously got himself in a new car and did the same thing when we did because we did Europe for 2 months, we did UK for a month or something like that, or 2 weeks, and then we did South Africa for 2 weeks, and then we did USA for 3 months. That was one solid stretch. So yeah, for sure, we did that all in one solid run, back to back, and so when we did that, I mean, I was working for a company, and I mean, they were just paying me. They were paying me copious amounts of money to not do a lot.
Really? Are you for real?
No, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it worked out, but I do know how it worked out, but I won't divulge too much of that. It was all legal.
Not many people would be like, I was once working this job, wasn't really doing much, but they paid me copious amounts of money to do fuck all. I love it. Okay, yeah. Okay, so
that helped me out. Dale also sold his car, and he had a pretty good credit card, as far as I know.
Listen, this is getting better and better as we go, man. This is amazing.
Calvin sold his car a second time around, so he had a fair amount of money from that, I suppose.
Shit, that's a lot of dedication, to sell vehicles and stuff.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when we released Choices, which was obviously what was pre that 6 month touring span.
Yeah.
we wanted to prove that we could make it as a band in the world of touring circuit. We honestly believed that we needed to do these things in order to live that life and fucking follow dreams. I mean, there was no bones about it, mate. We were dead serious.
Yeah.
We had every intention of doing, I guess, whatever it kind of took, within reason.
Yeah.
And selling cars and shit
legal,
like that is within reason.
Legal. I just want to, let's probe that job a little bit more. Eh? Yeah, carry on.
Well, so if we must probe the job, I was training staff. It was a company in Brakpan. I was training staff on Pastel Evolution. So I'd set Pastel Evolution up for the guys. Well, I didn't set it up, but I worked with a company who helped set it up. Okay. But I knew how to use Pastel Evolution and they didn't. Okay. And for some reason, they deemed that as glorious. And they just paid me a lot of money to do that.
Listen, you cannot worry about that whatsoever. If they believe that was your worth, that was your worth. And
100%,
and it all, and we got to thank we got to thank those people for all the tours that you've brought to Cape Town. I mean to South Africa. I mean, the international guys. Sure. No, that's brilliant.
So yeah, and then and Nicky, I don't, to this day, I still don't know how he even did the first tour, because I mean, he really genuinely did not have money to throw around. I mean, like, I'm not saying he was poor, but he definitely didn't have money to throw around on tour. Yeah. Nicky lived lean. I mean, he's a lean guy when you see him in real life. Yeah. It's fucking bean cheese,
Eat your dinner. Keep a scafe there, bro.
But I mean, he just did whatever, I suppose. Fucking wheel and deal, whatever you needed to do, I suppose. But he made it happen, and he lived very lean. I mean, Nicky was one of those guys who would not necessarily eat a meal at each designated time of day, so long as he was there, and
dedication,
everyone kind of string together. And so I mean, and he always had like that was one thing about Nicky. He always had very little going into a tour, had less going home, kind of thing.
Okay. It's all about the experience, but those are the type of people that I appreciate the most in the world, because they'll throw caution to the wind and they'll just rock it.
Absolutely, bro. I mean, like I still love that spirit about him. If ever towards the future we had to find ourselves in a position where we were without a bassist, I would definitely ask him if he's, not doing anything. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously very busy right now, and he's found a super staunch career, and he's doing well in that. So that's all great. But I would certainly knock on his door again, because he's a rad guy. We love him to bits.
Yeah.
We've obviously all had our falling out at some point. He never left the band because of a fallout.
Yeah.
For the record or anything.
No.
At least not the second time.
Hey, listen, if they come back if they come back again, that's all chilled. If they leave amicably the second time, it's even better.
100%.
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, I've got my own, horror stories as well, and then also the positive sides of rekindling relationships. Like, just gonna throw something out there quickly. Myself and Nathan Dixon, the old guitarist of Atlantic South, who we initially wrote the first EP and second EP with. Who left the band in September 2016, I have reunited with, and we have started a new project. So there's something for everybody to listen to. So I didn't want to throw that out there, because I wasn't going to do it, but I just thought, rekindling of relationships is also, it's always good to keep relationships strong.
No, for sure. I mean, to be fair, it's not always possible.
No.
And some broken relationships take time to mend.
Yes.
Or to get to a point where people are at least talking again and okay with that.
Yeah.
But so long as we don't die with grudges on our shoulders, you know what I mean?
100%. I mean.
So
yeah. No.
But I mean, dude, like to think that you would have a band for 13 years and not be hurt and hurt others in the process, I think is fairly naive, because, like, there comes a point for a lot of people where, like, well, fuck, they're not making money. They're not doing international tours every other day. And so do I still want to do this? And, you bump heads eventually,
it's
hard to stay focused for 13 years.
look, it's hard to stay focused for 1 year. So
Totally.
it's one of those things where if you couple those all together, I mean, you got to think of the hard work, dedication, patience, and compromise that you have to deal with over all those years. You've got to really build the respect up for having stayed in outfit for that long. I mean, you don't stay in outfit for that long without, having strong values within the band. Now,
Totally.
that's another thing is you strike me as someone like me, where you, the papa of the band, you run, well, that's why they call me Papaji.
Daddy Ash.
Yeah, Daddy Ash, Papaji.
Daddy.
So it's a very similar thing where you actually were cracking the whip yourself. I'm always the guy cracking the whip, and you're the same, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not an easy position to be in, And I mean, you'll know this from personal experience. Like, if anything ever went bad, you're the arsehole.
Yeah.
And that's how the story goes. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't matter who left the band or how they left the band, you're the arsehole.
Yeah.
And you can only wear that jersey for so long before it really starts actually weighing down on you and actually hurting you.
And also, if it happens enough times, you're gonna start thinking that you're the common denominator.
100%.
Which is not actually the case. You just hold passion over your project, and you don't want it to slip through your fingers, kind of thing,
Yeah.
I've got actually a comment here. Yeah, repairing relationships with buds is cuck, from Art Pereira, a drummer from Verona Walls, and A Tribute for All, and who else does he play for? VOL, that's it. Anyway, dude, let's talk about that quick. Let's not go into all the detail about the USA tour, and I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Cool. What states did you play, and tell me, what was your best state? What was your best show of that tour? Let's focus on that rather.
Crikey. Okay, so I mean,
crikey, mate, me arm.
We were there for 3 months, like I said. We started out in California, and we kind of worked our way right up to New York from the bottom, and then worked our way along the East Coast down all the way to Florida. And then, so when we worked our way up, that was one tour. When we worked our way down, that was another tour.
Oh, wow.
And then we worked ourselves across the bottom base along up the West Coast.
You went down the West, yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
And that was another tour. Now, I
that's
honestly
a lot of road dogging, brother.
For sure, man.
You got time zones you're crossing.
Absolutely. It was insane. I mean, obviously, you kind of get used to it as much as you can. I mean, like, we never had decent places to stay. We pretty much lived at Walmart, and anybody who pretty much tours in the States knows that that's, a good place to catch a sleep in your van,
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's well lit. You've got bathrooms there.
I slept in Walmart in Frisco, dude. Don't worry. In freezing cold weather in the Rocky Mountains. I've slept outside Walmart a few times.
100%. So yeah, that was kind of the vibe. But anyway, the first two tours were rough. I actually arrived in the States. So just to sort of backtrack a little bit, before we started this 6-month touring spree, I had a knee injury that had plagued me since, I don't know, like 4 years prior. I did a hyperextension when I jumped off a stage monitor.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if you know what a hyperextension is with your knee, but it's like where it bends backwards.
That's
and
harsh.
I tore my ACL.
For your acrobatics on stage as well, eh?
So I tore the ACL and never had it repaired. So by the time I eventually decided to get it repaired, we were sort of like a couple months before we were going on tour to Europe. And I thought, well, here's an idea, get it fixed now, because then at least, you can hold yourself together in one piece during this whole thing. But, and it was fine. I mean, I'd done all the recovery. I'd done all the rehabilitation, whatever you call it, the physiotherapy. I'd done all of that stuff, and I was good to go.
Yeah.
Europe was fine. Everything was kind of fine. UK was fine. and we'd arrived in USA, and we were checking out gear. So we arrived at the record label at Media Scares at the owner's house. We were staying at his house, and we'd bought some gear, and we'd got some gear from we got a drum kit from the guys at Music Connection, helped us out with Spawn drums. So we'd got gear, and we were pretty much just bringing it all together to test out everything, and sort of like get ourselves ready to actually start the tour. And Baron, the guy who owned Media Scare, he organized a showcase studio to do like a sound check and kind of just run over the set basically before we start the tour. And for some reason, so I always wear a knee brace, like one of these like low profile aircraft material, like
underneath your jeans or whatnot.
100%, yeah. And which obviously helps to just stabilize everything and not have any side movement or anything like that. And for some reason, I in my head didn't think to put it on for this little practice jam. And
it was a practice jam.
It was a practice jam.
So do you throw down in your practice jams?
Well, I always do,
Okay, well, no, listen.
You're rehearsing for live.
Yeah, sure. No, okay, no, that's a valid question. I mean, do you throw down like you play live in the rehearsal room?
I mean, not always 110%.
I was hoping you were going to say yes, because I want to say, take note, motherfuckers.
But, for a fair amount of it, for sure.
Okay, sure, good. I love it.
The older you get, the lazier you get, there is that aspect as well.
100%. But listen, it's good cardio.
Yeah, for sure. Especially for me, I need it, damn.
Oh, but, bro, I'm expanding faster than bloody coronavirus.
So anyway, we've set everything up, and then I realized, oh shit, this is like a real showcase little rehearsal studio. There's like a couch and everything, and there's a stage, there's a couch, and we're going to be performing to this record label for the first time. Amazing. They've never seen us live. Shit. And I was like, they've done our release. This is the first time they've seen us live. So I says to the guys, hey, we should put on a show, and not just have it be a jam. Let's play this thing and let's fuck shit up. Lo and behold,
bust ACL.
I think we were one song in, I think, and I did this it was this pathetic little jump, little boop.
It's the smallest ones that get you.
Yeah. Dude, and it blew my knee 9 ways to Sunday, man. I was out, man. I was throwing up in the bathroom. That's how.
Oh wow! Is that how much pain you were in?
Dude, it was intense. Like I was blinded by the pain.
Wow.
It was so heavy, and I was embarrassed. I was, I'd lost all my weight. I'd gained a lot of weight over the years, and I'd lost all my weight to do this tour and to get myself right. And I'd lost a shitload of weight. I must have lost about 30 kgs.
Wow.
I was slim. I was in shape, and I was doing well. And
was that just a cardio thing? No. Was that just that you wanted to be able to move on stage and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Or is that more just a self-conscious? Like I want to be more confident.
It was a self-conscious thing.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
it was everything all in one.
Okay, yeah, because we're live, so we have to talk about this stuff, and I've got to be candid with you. I've struggled with that shit my whole life, brother.
It's hectic, man.
It's shitty, and it's not. And in my later years, I must admit, it's like. You're like, why were you beating a dead horse? Like, not beating a dead horse as in that you can't get in shape and get skinny and stuff, but it's more so, why are you beating yourself up the whole time? It's a choice. It's like, why do you put yourself through this depression? And listen, I have it still. I had it today. I put my socks in and I felt a little bit of a roll underneath my bloody armpit, and I was like, what's going on? And and I'm being dead serious with you, brother.
Totally, yeah.
And
I hear you, man.
It's important for you to know that nobody looks at you like that.
For sure. And it's it's
a mental thing. It's a mental thing.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
That's why I see
and
so much
I'm
of me and you, and I keep on interrupting you, and I apologize to you profusely for that.
No,
but I
sure.
do honestly see a lot of myself in you, in the way you are, in the way you interact, in the way you are passionate about your projects, in the way you've got a never give up attitude. I love it. I absolutely, and I'm almost of the opinion that it sucks that you're not in the same province as me. I can't wait to get together with you in person, bro, to hit it. I mean, because I also, the last time when we were together, I was in a whole different mindset. You know, you picked us up. I was game on show, you know, and when the game on show was,
sure.
when the show is finished, it's party, you know. Anyway, just wanted to get that out there. But so the US tour, you got in your shape, you bust your knee, you were embarrassed, you were chundering in the bathroom, like fuck, bro. I can imagine that was a terrible situation for you to be in.
I mean, it was fuck up, man. Like the first couple of shows I was in crutches.
Yeah.
And
shit,
I mean,
horrible.
I remember like Baron sent a message to a couple of promoters that were on that run, or some of the bands, and Oaks were like, these dudes are gonna blow this tour, you know. And I was like, fuck you, man. I'm from South Africa. You know what I mean?
Got a harder work
live with
ethic than
lions
any
out
of you,
there,
motherfuckers.
you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like, no ways, you know, and but whatever, you know, and
but you got through it at the end, right?
Yeah, we pulled through, man. Like, but I mean, admittedly, like I really did have
an issue.
I really had a moment that was unforgettably the lowest point in my life, for sure. When that happened, like, I mean, dude, as a young boy, you dream of going to America with your band. And I'd been to America before, but never with my band.
Yeah.
And we were here. This was what we had worked towards. The record label was in front of us, watching us. Like, there couldn't be a lower moment for me at that point in my life, you know, and this happened. And I was fucking legit broken.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on the phone with my dad, and at a payphone at a garage or whatever, and I was chatting to my mom, and my mom said, you know, yeah, speak to your dad. And I mean, my dad was never entirely into the music scene. I mean, he maybe didn't get it, you know, which is cool. I mean, you know, we all have our things.
Yeah,
and
dude, even more similarities. I mean, not so much, but like my parents always support me, but they wouldn't come to like a show kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, they've been to one.
Yeah, even my parents. My parents went to Metal for Africa, Summerfest 2015, and yeah. That was enough for them.
They couldn't handle me.
They went back to
running around
Mac
and jumping.
And Dire Straits, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I remember, like, you know, when I spoke to my dad, and like, I mean, I was in tears. Like, I was on this payphone in tears about the whole thing, and you know, I was like, I want to come home. You know.
And you're also far from home, and you also are homesick at the same token.
Yeah, you know, and I remember him just saying to me, "You're definitely not going to do that. You know, you're gonna follow through on this, because that's what you're going to do." And
fuck yeah, dude, your dad's amazing for saying
we
that.
don't give up, you know. And it was like he had that attitude about it, and I don't know what it was about the way that he said it, or maybe it was just the first time it's sort of like he acknowledged that this was a real thing for me, that kind of said, I've got to do this, and it's going to happen. Yeah, you know. But I did it, you know, and we obviously continued the rest of the tour. Mm-hmm. But that first, you know, leg of the, you know, of USA was hard, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine.
No pun intended, you know.
3 months. 3
months of that, dude. And I mean, we had van issues. We had fucking, you know, any kind of issue, you know, tire blowouts in the middle of fucking nowhere. Okay. You know, sleepless nights because XYZ's going on. This, that, the next, you know. Black ice, anything that could come at us was pretty much coming at us.
Yeah, and also you're in a new spot. You don't know how to deal with the great thing is you're in a first world country where help is very readily available. Luckily,
sure.
In some instances and some instances not, if you do not know or not do not have the wherewithal of how to connect with whatever. But it's one thing I want to ask you. You had all those issues. Did you have any voice issues? That's the one thing I always ask with harsh vocalists. Where you touring for 3 months. How did your voice fare?
So USA was just Man, it was so hectic because, like, first of all, I'm just going to, say this.
Yeah.
In South Africa, we can buy pretty decent medicine over the counter at any chemist.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff you get in the States and in Europe,
it's like
and
Schedule 2
UK,
vibes, bro.
Fuck, bro. I wouldn't even feed it to my child, man.
No way.
You know what I mean? Like,
been there.
It's terribly low voltage, you know.
Oh, low voltage.
And it just, yeah, dude.
Oh, really? I thought it was the other way around. Oh, no, wait.
No, not at all.
I went to Thailand and I literally got high on these pain pills that these guys. But dude, it's crazy. So it's light.
I mean, like, yeah, for sure, dude. Lightweight. I mean, at least by my standards. I mean, we were sick constantly, and nothing solved it. You know, nothing knocked you out. Nothing. You know, and I mean, I don't want to sound like a drug addict because I'm obviously I've never done any of that stuff, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
I've never even smoked a joint. Truth.
Truth. Yeah. Okay. No, I've smoked a joint, but I've never done the
harder stuff. Yeah.
No, never, ever.
Yeah. You know, only whiskey, the doctor said.
Oh yes.
But
and also that's another thing I love about you. I mean, you enjoy whiskey, but that's your cut.
Yeah, that's me, dude. You know. Whiskey and red wine, you know.
Yeah.
I was in Cape Town
red
for
wine
a
with
long time.
A good medium rare steak, bro. Come on. Listen, you're speaking my language.
I'm more of a red wine with chocolate kind of guy.
Oh, but, okay. I can deal with that. I also like
those chocolate pairings.
Dark chocolate. Dark chocolate.
It works well, obviously, with red wine.
Yes, of course.
I'll take whatever.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, quickly. I know I've kept you here for long, and I must say I humbly apologize for the little bit mishap we had at the beginning. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I'm going to keep you just a little bit longer, okay? So 100%. I just want to ask you quickly. All tours done. We're good. Then get back. You write these two albums, right? You got your first album, fuck, man. You got
Send in the Hope,
yes,
then Choices, then I Labor.
Yes. Okay, and then now that's 2017. We're in 2020. You've got the fuck. What was that? I had it earlier. What's the show you playing in 4 days' time?
The Hullapalooza sessions.
That's it. Sorry, man. You see, I don't like to work with notes or anything like. I try keep everything up here, otherwise notes make me confused and then I go on tangents and all that kind of stuff. So Hullapalooza, you're playing that on the 22nd. First of all, you have developed, and I have witnessed this the entire time that you've been busy working on this room. I have watched every step of the way. Because Ash, we have met before. You have tour managed my band before. We had a fantastic time. You were so accommodating. Even though you went to the wrong airport,
Oh shit! I forgot about that. Wow.
No, that's all. No, bro, we had such a good time. We're gonna release that footage at some stage, I feel like I've got to know you in a very short amount of time on this podcast, but also the type of person you are, especially your interactions with Rick. I'm sometimes not I can be very boisterous and very loud and stuff, and that can be a defense mechanism sometimes. But I'm a very observant person as well. And I noticed that you and Rick really hit it off in a very deep way. And you guys really developed a very quick relationship and giving each other advice and all that kind of stuff. I just feel like you're someone that someone can really rely on and someone can confide in. And I think that's a great quality in you. So I really wanted to just put that to you to say, I observed a lot of things on that tour. You may not have noticed, but you're a really great guy.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think you need to keep doing what you're doing. A lot of people respect you, and your band means a lot to a lot of people. So keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to the show. So let's talk about this Hullapalooza show. Let's talk about that room. I want to know about how you got around to. It's on your property. It's a massive room. It's painted. I saw you had to plaster. You soundproofed. Tell me all about it.
Okay, so first off, the Hullapalooza sessions are not at that studio.
Sure.
But that, so I built. Lockdown started, and we'd already started this pre-lockdown. We'd already started building a home studio, like a rehearsal space.
Yeah.
Something that I wanted to offer to the local dudes in surrounding regions of Benoni, and
Yes.
wherever, Joburg, I suppose. Whoever needs a place, here we go, kind of thing. And we had an open cottage that was just standing with no ceiling, and so we basically built it inside, like the room inside the room kind of approach, to basically do as good a job on soundproofing as you possibly could. And some of the guys in Truth and Burden helped out on 2 or 3 occasions. And then obviously lockdown happened, and thank goodness by that time we at least had a ceiling in, because I would have fucking struggled for sure on my own. Ceiling boards are super heavy.
Yes.
And just cuck to handle on your own.
No, for sure.
And, so that wouldn't have worked any other way. So it was great to have them at that point. But then, of course, lockdown happens and everything closes. And so I was doing this like mad, while everyone was trying to pre-rush for bog roll and booze, I was hitting the hardware stores.
Yeah, you're getting the hardware stores. Amazing.
I was just hitting the hardware shop,
getting
man. Like everything I could think of. Trying to basically get every possible thing I could think that I might need. Like I was just buying it up and basically stockpiling hardware.
Amazing.
So that I could basically just dedicate my time and try and keep my head clear at a time that I knew was going to be brutally stressful, and made great strides over lockdown. And obviously, like, the studio's complete.
And you got the whole Truth and Its Burden moniker there. It's amazing.
We took the old banner, put it up. Yeah,
fantastic, dude.
So it's fully operational. We built it from the ground up, with very little spend, actually. So
that was my next question. Did it hurt the bank? No, not too much.
Not really. Hey, I mean, I'm a salvage yard kind of guy, so I spent, most of the support structure is all salvage yard sourced.
Yeah.
So I mean, like $4 a meter on brandering and stuff like that. So like really didn't spend too much money on that. Pretty much lined the walls with old carpet from the salvage yard. So
and how far are your
pretty
neighbors?
Low spend.
How far are your neighbors away?
Oh no, they're pretty close. I mean, we're talking like 5-6 meters.
And they can't hear. Can they hear? Are you serious? Are you for real?
Yeah. No, dude, I'm absolutely dead serious. If you close your door, and that's that, you don't hear it beyond that,
Wow, that's fantastic.
And I mean, we're a loud band,
Yeah, of course. And the louder the better.
So it worked out really well. I mean, it took really sourcing like really very solid double doors to actually make it soundproof.
Okay. So tell me, as a nerdy question, being a loud band, do you protect your ears?
I don't, and which is obviously not a good thing.
Do you suffer from tinnitus or tinnitus, whatever they call it? Not,
no.
So you're just a beast through and through. Because shit, dude, my ears can't handle that shit. I've got this yellow thing behind me. It's called a PV5150. Can't do that to my ears, bro, with that 4x12. But anyway,
sure, dude.
And I'm sure you guys. So quickly, let's wrap this up and quickly talk about Hullapalooza. Obviously, it's not happening at your studio, but it is happening there.
Yeah. So it's happening at Urban Session Studios, basically. I'm sure there's been a fair few posts around those kinds of shows that have been happening in lockdown, the live streamed types. I'm sure people have seen those flower lights pop up on a fair few shares. That's the studio where we'll be doing the Hullapalooza sessions. Obviously the Hullapalooza, the guys. So we got invited to play the show, and there were some technical things that needed to be worked out, and Just Music, along with Mongrel Records. I mean, so Mongrel Records is a subsidiary of Just Music, and they wanted to get involved on a more sort of like active, kind of own it role.
For sure.
And thus, here we go, Hullapalooza sessions, and we're the first guys through the door.
Amazing.
So yeah, we're super stoked about it. I mean, to say the least. But we're also extremely, extremely nervous about it. you know, we've obviously played a lot of shows, some more higher profile than others, but this, in some what weird way, feels very pinnacle to Korea in a different kind of way, you know.
In terms of the live stream situation, but you've already pulled it off with the M4A, albeit pre-recorded, but it came out like a champion. It was brilliant.
No, it was cool. I mean, and obviously, I mean, we had a lot of work that went into that in a different kind of way.
Yeah. Well, Jesus, I think fucking editing and the post-production shit must be a nightmare.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ashley knocked it out the park.
Ashley Gaysford. No, tell me, there's two Gaysford. Isn't there a Gaysford in your band?
There is, his younger little brother.
Okay, I thought so. There we go. That's one of the connections I did want to make. Yeah, Sean, Sean.
That's it.
Yeah, nice. Fantastic. Shout out Sean Gaysford. And shout out Ashley. I met Ashley. He did Atlantic South Sound at the Attila show. I don't think we've ever sounded better.
He's amazing, man.
Yeah, he's a fan. And what a friendly, awesome dude as well. And let's quickly...
Very helpful, very...
Yeah, quickly, also, let's talk about... Finally, and I think this is probably one of the most important things that we're going to talk about this evening. Listen, first of all, get your tickets at for Hullapalooza. What was it?
Hullapaloo.
Fuck, it's Lollapalooza, Hullabaloo, all that kind of stuff. You know, get your tickets, CompuTicket now, right?
That's it.
Do you know the ticket price?
22nd of August.
Do you know the ticket price?
It's $80.
$80. Oh, come on, bro. Small change, guys. Come on. It should be more, basically, what I'm trying to say. If you're getting content like this. But what I wanted to say, shit, I've completely lost my train of thought now. What I really wanted to chat to you is about, yes, the fact, speaking of the Gaysford guys, Ashley is your sound engineer, and what you guys have been doing actively as a band is getting donations. And I think that is absolutely amazing. If you have a crew, if you have people that have been supporting you throughout the years, your thinking is amazing, and it just shows, it's testament to the kind of guys that you guys are.
Yeah, man. I'm, you know, like, obviously, as soon as we started like jamming again as a band, you know, whatever level it was when we could actually start getting out of our fucking front doors. Ash came through as well, and he pretty much helped set my PA system up in the studio that we built, obviously. And we got chatting, and like, you know, I just started to really get a deeper understanding for the situation that him and so many others in his, you know, field of expertise are battling with. And obviously that's finances, you know. It was just something that like, I started thinking more, and I was like, you know what, like, a guy like that would never ordinarily be able to just say, hey guys, you know, can you help me? And so I put it forward to the guys of the band, and I said, look, what do you guys think of this idea about trying to raise income for a guy who can't, you know, actually that can't, you know? And everyone was, of course, yeah, for sure. Dude. I mean,
it's like a no fucking brainer. You didn't even need to run.
It's a total no brainer. You know what I mean? Like, but obviously, you know, you got to run these things past and get everyone's approval, and you know.
No, I said that as a joke, of course.
Yeah, for sure. And so we started the whole idea of like, hey, you know, guys, can you, you know, Winterfest was a great opportunity to really push it and drive it.
Yeah. That was fun.
And we still have it on our website. It is still. You know, it is still on our website. It is something that we still will plug every once in a while. We were able to raise some funds, not a whole lot, but we did raise enough to make.
Effort is effort.
Yeah, for sure. There were a fair few guys who put forward, and it's, you know, we're super grateful for it. Ash is obviously super grateful for it.
Yeah. Just shows that you care, dude. It's amazing. I love it. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I mean, it's a difficult time of life, man. I mean, and these guys, you know, my biggest thing is this, and this was also my heart behind this. Like, if we're in a position when we come out of lockdown that we don't have venues because venues couldn't fucking sustain the long run of not being able to operate, and we don't have venues and we don't have live engineers because they've had to change direction on their, you know, their vocation. You know, what are we going to do then? You know, and I was just like, you know, I love the music scene. Like, love it. I'm not in this at my age of 38 because, I'm fucking bored. No, I love this. I live this. This is it's a livelihood in its own sense, Yeah.
Fucking, you don't look a day older than like 32 odd. Like, geez, bro, that's you blessed in the age.
It's a De Beer thing, maybe.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there's like some diamonds there. That's amazing, dude. I love it.
So we want to have people involved in the scene when this is all back to what it used to be, and not just that, like there's a heart position behind this. That is, we want people to be able to fucking eat and live and be able to afford a pack of cigarettes or whatever, So I don't know if there's anyone out there that is listening right now that feels the the need to maybe contribute a little bit if you can. It is still on our website. The link's on our website. So if you go to truthlessburden.com, you can still donate either through like an EFT transfer, which goes to me, but then I obviously administer directly. We don't take anything from it. If anybody knew that, everything that's raised goes directly to Ashman.
Amazing.
It was originally intended for Ash and our other guy, Chad. But Chad turned around and he was like, it's not really something that's necessary for me. I still stay at home and I'm still fairly comfortable. Okay. So all right. Rather help Ashman.
Props to him for actually pulling that card, eh?
Totally,
shout out to him for that. Shout out for him to go, hey, listen, this is not for me right now. It doesn't need to be me. It can just be the who needs it. So shout out to him. That's amazing, bro.
For sure.
That brings much joy to me. On that
note,
dude,
we've seen we've seen a lot of like gratitude in various forms over lockdown. So like for all the bad things that have happened and everything that's going on, like there's still so much like positive mental attitude and just like gratitude and willingness to actually like now be more actively involved in community, and I think that's been something that like many people can actually sit back and like take stock on and actually hopefully be more of that once we actually come out of this, Sure. So yeah.
Amazing, dude. Well, I can tell you only one thing, bro. It's been so rad chatting to you. We've lost time, and you've got little ones that you need to put to bed and all that kind of stuff, dude. And I humbly apologize for the delay. You know what happened. I know what happened. We can keep that between us. Basically, I went live for 15 minutes and didn't realize we weren't live. But anyway. Dude, thank you so much. My last question.
Thank you.
And I think everybody's burning to know this question because I've been chatting to some of my mates, Charlie, Jared, all those dudes, and I was like, "What was your first impression of Papaji, bro? You two managed us. We came to Joburg. We didn't know each other from a bar of soap. How was that experience with us hooligans for that 24 hours of the Attila tour?"
Bro, look, I mean, I think as a group of guys, like obviously you guys, I felt you guys carried yourselves super professionally.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because I'm on your show or anything.
Yeah.
But like I've dealt with like arsehole bands in my time, and like you guys were so not that, Actually, I mean, to be fair, any other band I think might have handled it differently, considering I left you guys hanging at the fucking airport for how long? Only to realize I was at the wrong airport.
Well, you gave us some extra drinking time, buddy.
But no, I mean, like you guys are all like just like fun-loving, genuine dudes. I mean, sheesh, man, you guys had me laughing a lot of the time. Like, no jokes.
We love the humor.
Pretty much 90% of the time, except that 10 or 20% of the trip to the airport back when we were sending you guys back home. When I was having that very deep discussion with Rick,
Yeah, you would. Yeah.
I was pretty much laughing all the way.
Yeah, no, 100%. But it was very cool to see that serious side of you. At the same time,
I mean, it was, what's the nice thing about that whole situation is,
shout out Rick first of all.
Yeah, when totally, dude, totally. I mean, that discussion that he had there single-handedly solved a lot of issues. And him and I know what we were talking. I mean, you guys would have known in the van if you were eavesdropping on the conversation, listening. I won't go into it now, but I mean, that was so beneficial. to my life and my marriage, for that matter.
Okay.
So yeah, it really helped so much in the area that I was obviously struggling with at the time.
Sure.
So I'm forever grateful for that, because it changed my viewpoint.
Oh wow. Okay, so that was a definitive situation there. Amazing.
Totally, dude. Totally. That was I mean, he'll know obviously what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't want to go into any sort of detail, but
sure.
That's amazing.
Just to be fair.
That's amazing.
But it was a really cool vibe, and but yeah, dude. I mean, it was one of those things where, like, I left that drive, and I was on the way home, and I was thinking to myself, you know what, like, this was such a cool experience. Like, I want to do this so much more. You know, I have a van. I have time, generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this for other bands that are, you know, looking for this
100%.
Same kind of service, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I didn't charge for anything. It was, you know, purely out of love.
And we appreciate that 100%, man.
100%, you know?
You went above and beyond. Literally took us to restaurants, up and back. I mean, I even bought shoes on the trip, dude. I mean, you were amazing.
I remember that.
Yeah. I've actually got them on.
You know?
Dude, I've got them on. I got them on. But yeah, that was amazing.
So yeah, you know, like, I mean, that experience right there just kind of, you know, there are small moments along the way of life that kind of just sort of tell you that's something to do more of, and that's something to aspire towards, and that's something to just sort of like play a little bit more with as an idea, you know. And this experience with Atlantic South was definitely that, you know. It definitely it inspired me in many ways to sort of like say to myself, you know what, like, if the opportunity comes again, I'm grabbing it with both hands, because it's cool to meet people. And I never know any of you guys, you know, and how cool was it? You know, like, it was just rad. It was a rad experience. Like, every single one of your dudes in your band was like rad in his own way. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I can't remember your guitarist name.
Charles, except for Gareth and Charles at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m, hammered out of there.
No, but fuck, dude. I mean, they were rad guys.
Yeah, we were still jolling. But on that note, Ash, dude, Cape Town, Facing the Gallows have stayed at this house. Red Helen have stayed at this house. Hope is for Heroes has stayed at this house. All Will Fall has stayed at this house. So it's time. Truth in His Burden needs to come to Cape Town. You got free accommodation right here, buddy.
Thank you. We will definitely take you up on that.
And I will hold you to it as well. But on that note, my brother, it's been amazing to chat to you. I can't wait to do this again, dude. I really can't wait to do this again. It's been very long, but it's been more than worth it. And please apologize to the wife and to your little one. I really appreciate it. But Ashley, thank you so much for joining the show. Can't wait to do it again. Ashley De Beer of Truth in Its Burden. Thank you so much, dude.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Sweet, brother. Any last words for the fans before we go?
Other than to pick up tickets for the Hullapalooza session on the 22nd of August. For us, it's a very big deal. We've pulled a lot of strings to make it happen. We've pulled a lot of things out of the magician's hat to bring forward as new ideas. And it's a really exciting show, and I think people are going to be well stoked having bought tickets and checking it out. So definitely make effort to get that.
Amazing, dude. Well, I will be there. I will be there on the 22nd. Get your tickets at CompuTicket. Go check out everything you need to do at truthanditsburden.com. Check out Truth and Its Burden on Instagram, on Facebook. Check out their videos on YouTube. I saw Weightless today. Weightless. Amazing track. You got those 2 videos from iLabor up there. Amazing, guys. We'll see you soon, my man. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Cool.
Sweet, brother. All right, guys. That was Ashley De Beer of Truth and Its Burden. It's so cool to have him around. Shit, just so much. I got lost in it. I mean, we're 2 hours in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save everything for the next episode. That we cannot tarnish such an amazing conversation with Ashley reacting to stuff, because it's been such an amazing episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So we'll pick it up next episode Friday. Little announcement: I'm going to be chatting to Climate Control on Friday. Johannesburg-based Climate Control. They've just released an EP called Master of None. So check out for that. Look out for that episode. I can't wait to chat to them dudes. I've known them for quite a long time. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Jared, Brian Swanson, first-time listener. Art Pereira, always a supporter. Angela Hizeroth, thank you so much. Mark Olvacher, guys, I promise you I will get to your submissions this Friday. It's been a long, important episode for me. I really wanted to get in touch with and chat to and really concentrate on truth and its burden, and I think we achieved that. So I really thank Ashley. I mean, we had some great ones before. We didn't even we talked for about 20 minutes while we were offline, but thank you so much, everybody, for joining the show. I love you all. Thank you all for the support. Subscribe to Papaji's House. Contact me on papajihouse@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram at papajihouse and Facebook. Love you all. But until then, this has been Papaji's House, episode 59. We'll see you on the 60th episode on Friday. Until then, we say peace. I don't want to go anywhere else. I want to go to Papaji's House.